Hey everybody, it's Pastor Vern back from a little R&R, I guess you would say. Had a chance to take a few days off and accomplish some other things. Now it's back to some interesting things in ministry, including getting ready for church conference and those kind of activities coming up. And we're going to return back and kind of wrap up our books of the Bible in this next few episodes. I guess is the right word for this. And we're going to kind of from that point I think we're going to move into some other things about doctrine, maybe some things maybe about we might just do some life things for a while. We're in a position now where apparently over the days that I was kind of gone, that the COVID cases have increased. People are having a um, little tougher go with things. We're more concerned. We have COVID that has kind of worked our way into different parts of society than we've had it before in our area. And so we have all these concerns, and we're going to keep working at that. By the way, this is Monday, September 28th. We're winding in the last days of September. And so as we think about that, I wanted to just throw out a couple things for those of you who are watching is that uh, share these things and the weekend worship with other folks so that they can have access to them if they haven't had to this point. If you can attend worship, please do so. We've got some things coming up where we're going to have you're going to have a new pastor in a few months, and the preparation for that will soon start with the cabinet and the bishop. And we want to show the best we can to them about receiving a pastor for our churches. We also, if you feel safe enough to come to church, it would help us, continue to get messages out beyond the scope of social media. So there's some of those things I would have you think about. Also, if you have an opportunity to send a donation, that'd be great. We are running a little short in some places with funds as we are going through this difficult time. And be sure to keep all this scenarios in our prayers. Well, today we're going to talk about the book of James. Now, James is written by someone who is raised Jewish, of course, and to Jewish Christians, and it has very much that tone of and spirit of the Jewish style of writing and the spirit. James is maybe the first book of the New Testament that was actually written, the first letter. That's all that's always up for debate, but that's a possibility. One of the things we see in James is it doesn't have a lot of doctrine in it. It just really doesn't. But what it does have is it talks about works. Now, it doesn't replace faith with works. Now, that's one of the things that we always struggle with in the book of James, because James, maybe one of his most important lines is that faith without works is dead, and also some other things that are along that line. But with Paul's writing about faith and with James writing about works, they're back to back. It's like they're fighting a common enemy of people who are trying to separate the church into different directions, but they're back to back while they're doing it because they relate to one another's positions quite well, and also shares the mantra that having faith is important, having works is important, and if you pull them together, you really are in a place where you are sanctified in your life with Christ. It is written more in the style of the Old Testament prophets. Once again, it was written by someone with a strong Jewish background. James is reported to be Jesus's brother. Some people wouldn't go with that, but that is kind of the feeling that most of the at least Protestant Christian writers have, is that James, and he's been called in the he's been called that in the scriptures. He's someone who is rich and full of faith, and it comes out in what he does. The book can be broken down into probably 4 or 5 different pieces, even though it's a short book. It's got about that many chapters. You talk about Christian living is subject to the scriptures. He links how we live to what the scriptures say very tightly. That Christian living demonstrates faith by its works, that we have that faith, and that's why we do the works that we do. That Christian living provides corrective measures for evil of the tongue. He talks about the tongue being a almost on its own sometimes. What he's talking about is what we talk about and how we talk about it. Sometimes it almost has a life of its own. That living a Christian life secures a victory over Satan is one of his themes, and also Christian living is sustained by the Lord's return. The promise of Christ coming back helps to sustain our Christian life, because we have that promise of that time when Jesus will come and once again rule over the earth as God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit are dominant in heaven. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about with James today. We're going to try to keep going. We just got a few more books to go through in the Old Testament, and then rather in the New Testament, then we'll get onto some other things. I hope that you're all doing well. I know some folks in our churches have had COVID diagnosis. If there's things that you need, please let us know, and we will see what we can do to help out with that. Besides that, take good care of yourselves, watch out for others the best you can, and stay safe. And we'll talk to you later.